Hi, it's Teresa, and I'm just going to show you how to refund to an order that was placed by credit card in OFN. So I'm looking at this order here. I just placed it. You can see it was for $15.45. It's marked paid because it was paid by the customer's credit card. And if we edit that order, we can see it was for 3 items totaling $15 and the transaction fee. So the transaction fee was something I created. When I created the credit card payment method in my store, I also added a fee to that, calculated as a percentage, so that I recoup some of the transaction fee that Stripe takes when they process credit card payment. So that transaction fee I'm pointing out to you, it always shows up under order adjustments. So first of all, let's say you want to add something. The customer calls and wants to add something to their cart. Well, let's just do this. They want to add one more of these items. So this is how you would do that. And now we see the order total went up, and we can see that there is now a balance due on this order. So you might think, well, the customer said just put it back on the card, so I want to put that total back on the customer's card. And I want to show you that you can't do that. So on the payment screen, which is where you would make this payments normally, new payment, and you have all your payment methods that you set up would show up here. And you say, well, the customer said to put it back on the card, so I'm going to do that. And you can see it will prompt you for the card details. You cannot automatically hit a customer's card with an additional amount owing in the OFN platform security. However, if the customer gave you that direction, you can go to your Stripe platform, and every seller has a Stripe platform that they can log into when they set up their Stripe on OFN. Very useful to go there and spend some time on it. You can hit their card. You can send them an invoice, or you can send them a payment screen by email to process the remainder on their order. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm going to go back to the order details, and I'm going to put this back to where it was. Okay, so again, now we have a paid order paid by credit card. So let's say something was removed from that order and therefore puts this order into a balance owing to the customer. So I'm reducing this to 2. Now there is a credit owed to the customer on this order. One thing I want to point out, this did not change. This 45-cent transaction fee, even though I reduced this, it has stayed the same. Even though it was calculated as a percentage of the order. Why has it stayed the same? Because fees that are associated with payment methods are a little bit different than other fees in OFN. In this case, again, it's here because I'm trying to recoup some of the Stripe transaction fee, and Stripe will take their 2.9% plus 30 cents off your order even after you reduce your order. So they don't reduce the fee when you reduce the order. You still pay the full fee on that original order. So that's why this doesn't change either, because the whole purpose here is that you are trying to recover some of the fees that Stripe is taking. So this reduced the order, and we know that because the order status is still complete. There's your order total, which is lower than it was before, and there's a credit owed. So just remember that an order and a payment are 2 separate things and separate steps. So we reduced the order, but we haven't issued the payment yet, and that's why this says credit owed. So we go to payments, and again, we could pay out this customer in any way at all. It doesn't have to go back on their card. Let's say they said, send it to me in cash or e-transfer me. You would just go to new payment, and you would pick whichever payment method they said, and you set these up, right? And you can set them up to be back office only if you don't want people to do it themselves in the shop. So it doesn't have to go back on the credit card, but let's say that that's the easiest thing to do here, because it kind of is. So you want to put their credit back on their card. So all you do from the payment screen is click this check mark, and that credit owed disappears, and it came down into the payment table, we call this. And so now we can see there was an additional order paid by credit, and then an amount of owing of $5 went back paid by credit onto the card. The order is now paid, and the order total sits at $10.45. And just to show you that on the payment screen here, or sorry, on the order screen, so it's a complete order. The payment state is marked paid, the full order is paid, nothing is owing, and no credit is due. It's ready to pick up or ship, and the order balance, the order total rather, is $10.45. So let's imagine, so that's if you wanted to reduce an order, someone reduced an order, you want to put money, partial refund, sorry, I was struggling for that, partial refund. What if you want to cancel the order? What happens? Okay, so to cancel an order, one of the things you should not do is just empty the order by removing these things. You can do that, but if you remove these things, you have to also remember to go in and remove the transaction fee, which is an adjustment. So it's just the several steps to empty an order. It's much easier to just cancel an order. And to do that, you just go into Actions and hit Cancel, and you get a prompt. Do you want the customer to get an email? Do you want to take this stock and return it? So you can choose whichever of those you want. And when the order is canceled, we now have the status changed here. It's a canceled order. Notice that the order total still stands, because that is what the order was for, $10.45, so that hasn't changed, but a credit is owed. Remember, order and payment is separate. So the action we just did was on the order. Now we have an action to do on the payment. And if you go to the payment screen, you'll see this customer is owed $10.45. And the reason the 45 is there is because we have to put that whole fee back onto the customer's card at this point. So again, it's just a check. You just check, and now it's gone. You see, the order was canceled. If it was shipped, it was canceled. And you can see the payment was void. So it's gone. And whoops, this follows you the history of what happened. So this is really useful to always look to. This was the original order. We did a partial refund. We canceled the order. And just to show you what that looks like on the order screen finally. Same order number, of course. Now the state has moved from complete to canceled. The payment state is void. The shipment is canceled. And this stays, because this was historically the order total before it was canceled. Note that because this is a voided order, it's not going to be calculated in any of the reports you run, so you don't need to worry about that. It won't show up in a packing list. It won't show up in a delivery report or anything like that. But the historic totals here, if you need to see it.